So welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us for the last session of the day. I mean, we had 4, and I may say humbly that the first 3 were quite interesting. From the feedback we got, the only thing that people were complaining was about me. Can you imagine? No, me neither. So yeah, let's continue. We have some interesting topics, but before we go into it, first of all, I would like to say that I'm very happy, glad, and honored to have these senior experts sitting next to me, because listening to me makes no sense, right? I mean, what do you want? So happy to have them. I give them a quick minute to introduce themselves, and then we just start talking. And I want it will be very interactive. So we need you for this as well. Okay? Can we promise this to ourselves? You're going to ask questions, you're going to interact, you're going to make it funky,
That's right.
They are so, they're all shouting and cheering, It's unbelievable. Anyway, let's move on. Louis, please. Yes.
Hello. Boa tarde. I will speak in Portuguese now.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I'll make an effort. My name is Rui Franco. I'm the head of REN Telecom. REN Telecom is part of Energy Group REN, and our company is like 21 years old, so a nice lady, nice age, right?
You're not allowed to say this anymore.
Okay.
No.
And well, we have the largest and most stable dark fiber backbone in Portugal, and also do some business in data centers. And I think that's about it for now.
Thank you so much. We hear more from you, and thank you and welcome. Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, I'm Becker, so I'm MD for Equinix in Italy. And I'm president of IDA, which is Italian Data Center Association. I'm in love with whatever it is around Med-Area, not only because I'm living in Med-Area together with our friend, but because we have a lot which is happening in this area, and this is why I'm very curious and very happy to be here with you.
Okay, let's go to a real Italian. Luciano.
I am Luciano Talarico from Italy. I run a small internet service provider company called Intendo, and we are also working on a project for an edge data center in south part of Italy in the Mediterranean area, so in scope with the today's topic.
Thank you and welcome. Chigor?
Thank you. Thanks for coming. I'm Sigor Gaubeca. I'm the CTO of Aire Networks. We are a telecoms company in Spain and Portugal. And we are a big company and not an incumbent, but we are the 3rd operator in wholesale in Spain. And we are really good connected in Portugal and making some things in data centers, edge computing, cloud services, and so on. So thanks for coming.
Thank you and welcome. Maria?
Me again. So again, my name is Marila, just for the persons that are online maybe. So I'm a lawyer. I work at VDA, which is a Portuguese-based law firm that also has offices with VDA legal partners on Portuguese-speaking countries in Africa, and we have a large ICT team. And well, data centers is one of the matters that we deal.
Thank you and welcome.
Jorge Santos. I'm head of the international wholesale unit in Altice, Portugal. And specifically to this panel, I'm also a board member for the newly created Portugal DC Association. So,
thank you. Congrats and thank you for sponsoring the session. So, ladies and gentlemen, strategic future of data centers and edge computing on meeting future demand in the Mediterranean and African region. Now, who comes up with all those? Me? I must have been, I don't know. Anyway, let's move into it. All right. I put some points together, assessing the current and then future landscape of sustainable data centers to accommodate the increasing demand of the subsea cable operators. Can you give the audience an overview? What are we dealing with? What are you? Maybe Emmanuel, you can start. What are we talking about?
What are we talking about? Something which is really interesting about, it seems to be a tendency, sustainability, but I'm really thinking this is something we are all already delivering, and we need to continue to improve altogether. And if we are looking between sustainability and subsea, what does it mean? That means that we need to connect more and more people together, more and more countries together. And how can we do that in a more sustainable way? We have seen by part of the market, and not only unknown people not knowing us, but mainly even all around you. If you're speaking about your industry, people will say we are consuming a lot of energy. Instead, I'm always saying we are transforming energy. What does it mean? That means we are taking energy on mainly green energy. I'm saying mainly because 90% of us are willing or already consuming green energy. And then we are transforming this in digital in service to people. And main part of this digital is even helping any of us in consuming less other type of energy. When you're using a GPS, which is digitalized, you are using a way in coming from A to B in the best way, in consuming less energy in your car, in your plane, in your train, in your whatever. And so we are helping others to consume less energy. And yes, we are consuming energy, but we are, according to me, the only verticals which is making on yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily basis, we are making improvement in your systems. I'm not knowing any other industry making such important effort in bringing continuous improvement in our systems. If you know others, let me know. I'm curious about it.
May I add just something?
No. I always do this. It's so
Let me
nice.
just add to that, that everyone talks about the impact of AI, and everyone says, well, an AI search is 10 times more energy than a Google search, is 20 times more. But the net impact of AI is not much, is not a lot, because AI makes
We have a
all
lawyer here. What is your definition of net impact?
its economical impact.
Okay.
in energy consumption, because it makes AI makes all the processes more efficient, like Emmanuel was saying. So what we will see here is the displacement of where energy is consumed. So it will be consumed in data centers. They will increase maybe 10 times, but in other places, the energy consumption will be much more efficient.
And what is this new thing about, the liquid cooling, and especially towards the chips?
Okay, I don't think-
That's his topic. I know.
Well, liquid cooling is something which is, again, seems to be a tendency, and I'm saying this is a big wave which is already growing. Why? Because as we are using more and more digital services around us, as all of us, we are using more and more digital services, that means that we need more powerful digital systems to be able to deliver the digital services. So that means what we are saying is this famous density, how many kilowatt of computing or storage I'm putting in a cabinet is growing. If we're thinking about things I was seeing at the beginning of our career a couple of years ago.
18 months, roughly.
It was something, when we were speaking about 1 kilowatt a cabinet, it was look like, wow, really? And now you are speaking about 10 kilowatt, like you are buying some butter in your shops near to you. Meaning we are growing this density, so that means that you are focusing power in small parts. So you need to evacuate this power, because again, it's a power. Heating, it's a power, and we need to gain back this power. And the best way in using this is liquid cooling. But again, this is a way in taking it in a better way and having more energy focused in the same place. So we are consuming less square meters, we are having more computing in the same place. The only issue I'm seeing is the price of a cabinet is growing like hell. If once upon a time, a rack was costing 10,000 euro, taking it at constant price to simplify it. Now, a big cabinet is costing between 100 and 300,000 euro. A very big rack we will see in the next future, which will be maybe 100 kilowatt cabinet or 150 kilowatt cabinet, it will cost 1 million euro. If you are stopping 1 million euro of hardware, how many millions of software you're looking? So how many millions or tens of millions of services you're looking behind? So if we are delivering liquid cooling, this is high density, this is high services, so this is high risk too. And this is where we as professionals, we are the best one in delivering it.
The best one. Of course. That's
Speaking with any professional in this area.
All right. So moving a bit on, because I would like to hear a bit more, even on this late hour. I actually want a beer. That's why I want to move on. That's the only reason we're moving on. Anyway, what's there to expect from the future developments and deployments towards edge computing? Who wants that one? Sigurd? No, of course. It's up your sleeve, man.
We have in our company, we have a big project that is related with the edge computing. So because we are not only talking about the infrastructure, we are talking about the applications. So one of the first, once we started with the edge computing, and we said, okay, all people is thinking about the content close to the user, But nowadays, what we are seeing is that it's not true, because you don't have an edge data center connected with all the operators are working on the country. All the traffic, normally you have an edge data center and goes to the main POP, for example, in Spain, Madrid, or in Portugal, Lisbon or Porto. So you say, doesn't make sense. What we are seeing now is that the AI is one of the key players in the edge data centers, because you have to normally you train the models in a big data center or regional data center where the power is cheap or the cooling is cheap, but the inference, once you have the model trained, the inference is done in we say the not edge data center is like the super edge data center. The super edge data center is in a building, is in a hotel, is in a mall, And this is the thing, because you need super fast response of the model, of the hardware. So normally this super edge data center is in a rack, only in a rack, but you have to manage thousands of that. We wasn't wrong, because our strategy was to build data centers not in the main cities, But we are seeing this, that you have to make a lot of efforts to connect all the operators of that country, because you need to have this content close to the customer, because it has to be fast. But you have the super edge that is super close to the customer because of that, the inference of the models, and you need a very quick response of the model. Yeah.
Okay, Luciano.
Yes, I am with you, because years ago we speak about the edge data center, but nobody knows what application can consume this kind of infrastructure. Also, I think the entire ecosystem of operator can be involved in the development of edge data center, in particular the internet exchange point, because also in Italy we have the bigger internet exchange in the bigger city like Milan, like Rome, with Namex, and also mixing in Milan. Now both of them are trying to develop a sort of edge internet exchange point in other region of Italy. Italy, is very strictly and long, so the concept of edge can be good, but for which application? Because if we think to the content delivery network or the OTT, Italy is a region. There is no need for them to spread the data in other edge data center. Instead, other kind of application like artificial intelligence with language model ready to be consumed. This can be the killer application, I think, for this kind of services.
Okay, thank you. You want to add something to this?
just to state, of course, Portugal in comparison with Italy is different. Okay, now we don't have a single region installed in the country. The country was too small in terms of number of people. We didn't have the infrastructure enough to attract such an investment. So we are looking into more of a local zone type of deployment, let's say, smaller subsets of applications being run in a specific part of an area, which in this case is Portugal. So I see that finally we are moving towards that. I believe that the new investments, namely in Sines, will allow for more investments on that type in creation of such regions. It will be helpful, of course. And then, of course, there is the issue with, of course, internet exchange as well. We have seen, for example, what is probably the largest internet exchange in the world, which is Datacenters, deploying suddenly into, not suddenly because they have been doing this, they were the first ones to really believe in moving into, let's say, the edge, which when we talk about the edge is a bit broader than just a simple word. But they've decided also that they would need to grow in spaces like Africa, Northern Africa, etc. And so suddenly, is there a demand for all of those points that usually have the demand from Africa into Europe? Will this continue to occur? And the answer is just like Luciano was saying. What will be the applications they are running in each of their commercial internet exchange? And finally, just want to make a point on the energy side, on the sustainability side. I believe that the data center business or sector is really focused on trying to address the amount of power it is consuming. Of course, we are trying to show how good we do to the whole economy to support the amount of power we are consuming. But as well, there is a huge investment in working with renewable energies. And I think that is amazing, what is being done. But Portugal has an opportunity because it is investing right now on that. So we can do it from scratch the right way in terms of sustainability and preparing the data centers for the future in terms of using not only efficient systems, but also renewable energy the right way. And the country has been doing a lot of effort to provide that amount of renewable energy.
No, I mean, of course, you do have a point. And as Emmanuel said, and we heard it already before, that, you do everything you can to make it as green as possible, whatever. But and there is a pressure, and I'll come to the pressure, which is especially from a regulator or from the government or from the EU or, whatever can we and can we not do. But the thing is as well, I asked the question, who's having his coffee first or his mobile phone? And I think that 2/3 were at least on their phone first before to have a first cup of tea or coffee when they wake up, which means the data center is in use. It's 24/7, every second, every millisecond, and the demand is there. And it is, you come to a point where what is fair, right? I mean, they're using a huge amount of energy. Yes, and I know from Equinix, for instance, that they're investing a huge amount of money into make it as green as possible. But on the other hand, it also has its limits somewhere. And that limits, conflicts a bit with the fairness from, let's say, a public opinion to say, everything needs to be, sustainable or whatever. Yeah, sure. But on the other hand, you just send that message, which goes through the data center using that. So you are the demand who is, so, you know that and I want to have your opinion on this one, Marilia, because from a legal point of view, I think sometimes we're in conflict there a little bit. Is that the case? Yes or not? What would be your view on this one?
Well, obviously there's a conflict. It's not only in this specific issue of the data centers. There's a conflict in a lot of industries between whether we can supply this service or this product or whatever cheaper to everyone who wants it, or whether we will supply, for instance, at a higher price, but we will do it in a sustainable way, and we will not be able to meet the demand. Obviously, it depends on whether this is an essential product or not. This, if we are referring to digital, it seems very essential.
Well, the EU was clear on this one, right? During COVID.
But it is essential also to be sustainable in the end. So I probably, well, this is one of the things that, again, I try to make my case, which puts Portugal again in a very good place, because a lot of investments in renewable energy have been made over the years, and now we are again in a good spot to answer to this demand. But I do agree with you. This is an issue, but you do have obligations on both sides. You have to obviously provide the service, and you have to do it in a sustainable way. How this will be implemented, how we can mitigate the effort of investment, how we can tackle the downside. Well, obviously this is up to the law, let's so to say, because there's you do have obligations. But I think an effort has been made in the sense of balance the investment that has to be made and the cost benefit of certain options. So it is a difficult balance, but an effort has been made in that sense. And we cannot forget that we do have to be sustainable.
No, absolutely. But again, I think it's difficult. I mean, sometimes I'm a telco guy. Sorry for that. I'm a telco guy, and sometimes I struggle with it quite a lot because it's, you know, I am demanding a service from, in this case, let's say it goes through any data center in the world. So whoever it is, could be Equinix, most probably 60% of the time. But I also want to have it as sustainable as possible, right? But that thought comes actually after I already, you know, opened up my app. You know, so I also think that we as users should, I'm not saying use less, because, you know, he will kill me and everybody will kill us. I mean, if it's the provider, that's never the solution. No, but we know the demand, what is even coming. It's amazing. And I mean, we talked about Africa and we still do. So wait until that really opens up. But sometimes I do fight with that sort of conflict. You know, but on the other hand, by the end of the day, thinking about it, I think we need to be fair and to say, listen, okay, we trust that you guys, you do the best thing you can. And that should be, you know, sort of good enough with the help of, you know, of course, legislation, laws, in this case as well, EU regulations and so on and so forth. But it's not easy. Oh.
I have one small on this. You said when I'm opening my app, I want to have it, and then I'm thinking about how it is sustainable. First thing first, I want to have access to a service. So this is the very first thing. I want to have access to a service. Second thing, when I have access to this service, I want it to be reliable. I want it to be running. I want to have access to it. Secondly, I want it to be reliable. I want to be able to use this service whenever I want it, even in the middle of the night, because I'm not sleeping, I want to use it. And then the first thing is, why I'm using this service, what happened? So this is the first point. Third point, we have the luxury in Europe in seeing this point now, because the two first points are obvious. You are never thinking about, do I have access to this service? Is this service reliable? We have it. In some rising countries, and we are speaking about Africa to here, they are in the first point, having access to the service. Secondly, they will look at having it running. And then third point, so we'll look at it heavy. So we have this luxury. This is why we need to work on this, and this is why we are working on it. But we already have the two first point. Why? Because we have some very reliable people working on it in being able to deliver it and let it work.
Absolutely. Oui.
Just add something to what was said. Currently, I think the estimates of the total percentage of energy consumed by data centers in the world is 2%. Okay, I think we can all agree on this figure.
Hold on. I know these tactics. I know these tactics. Trust me. Yeah, we pollute only, for instance, Germany. We only pollute, let's say, 2% of the world. What is the if not somebody doesn't start? I mean, I'm not the
No, I'm just
greenest guy in the world, but
putting things into perspective, right?
we have
Electricity, not of energy.
no electricity.
So this will grow. This will grow because there will be a change of energy consumption from other sectors to the data centers. So of course, we have to take care of that. But the other thing that we also have to consider is that, for instance, in energy, which is where my company comes from, we talk about energy transition, and we all have to go along with energy transition using more renewables. But then digital is fundamental for that, right? So we need the data centers also for energy transition. So we have to find the right balance. That's my point.
I tell you, it is not possible to run on renewables 24/7 a data center. Forget it. It's just not possible. And that's why I'm throwing this curveball by saying, listen, we have to be fair in a certain way, and there should be some kind of acceptance, but that's my personal opinion. There should be some acceptance to say, hey, listen, you know what? COVID showed us, the pandemic showed us how necessary it is. It is like water, electricity, food, these kind of things. So it should be scaled and maybe in a different, that should not be an excuse for not, making it as sustainable or using, as much as renewables as possible. But it will not be possible. The sun is not always shining. The wind is not only always, we cannot store until now.
But you have to
wind
find the
energy.
right balance. That's
We
true.
need to find the right path, and it should be the right
The
mix.
so-called renewables are interruptible. They
Because
can
the
be-
service should be there, he said, because we demand the service, right? We do, right? We demand the service. We want the service now. Not yesterday, now. If I look at my daughters, and I have 3, trust me, yeah, bear with me, it's difficult. But, they are 8 hours a day, they are on their cell phones, right?
But Eric,
What?
that is the decision that we as a humankind need to make on everything that we are consuming right now. Everything, not just digital services. Because this is, are we willing to let go of anything to be more sustainable, more friends of the globe, let's say, friends of the nature? Are we willing to do that or not? If not, it's just like we said, something's got to give. And of course, we need to find the right balance. But this is not the first time the humanity is talking about this. This happened in the past with other industries. We have the awareness and we have the capability to do well, not better, to do well. I think that we are taking the steps to continue to do
It's
better.
our responsibility, yeah?
It is.
It is.
It is.
Full stop.
Because if we want services to be on our hand, when we open the app, it's not just open the app. It needs to be there immediately. We cannot wait for something, for a banking services or a service or a calculation going on, being calculated on a certain data center to take more than 1 second. We are not ready to wait for that. Now it's just taking too much time. So if we are not willing to give that up, we need to find a balance that is as good as it gets. And just to talk about one thing, one other thing that Marilia also discussed was about the ability to have some kind of balance when investing on renewables or in use of renewable power, and trying to have some kind of government aid, let's say, to this. when you look into the electric cars, going on the street, the Portuguese government gives X amount of money or deduction in taxes because you're buying a supposedly more sustainable machine. Are we doing that in other industries? If we are we doing that in a balanced way all over the country? I don't think so.
We can discuss this in 16-hour sessions, right? Again, right? No, but it's true. But it's, and that's also, I mean, maybe because it's the last session, it's also to give you something to think about, and without any opinion and whatever, and everybody should make their own decision. But you're right. I mean, you made a point. Is it, only on the data centers? Are we now, I mean, in the Netherlands, a huge data center of Meta was not being built because of the people went on the street by saying, hey, but they consume too much energy. Yeah, but darling, you are using that energy. It's you are demanding this. So there is also an educational part which needs to come from, let's say, the data center industry, maybe from telco, all of them. But I think that COVID showed us a little bit already that the necessity of having the complete ecosystem in place and to help us again, because remember with the pandemic, everybody had this app, and it was green and white was red, right? How do I open up this app? What do I use? Energy, right? So to tell everybody that I could enter something, think about it. Anyway, Rui, you wanted to say something? Tell us.
Yeah, I wanted to point one thing that about the sustainability, is as you said, Meta's data center was like people were saying, no, it wastes a lot of energy, and I always say about the sustainability. If you have a big demand, a high volume of traffic, or high volume of applications that you have to deliver information, it's I always say to the people, it's more sustainable to, for example, if you have to transport 100 persons from Lisbon to Madrid, for example, what's more sustainable? 50 cars or public transportation, for example, by train? No, this is the balance. Depends on the volume, and as we said, in the discussion, people wants to be super fast, only in 1 second. It's like they want to have to be really, really fast. So I think that the balance between sustainability and investment, we have to work on that.
Isn't it always true that we want the neighbor to be as green as possible, but I don't need to, right? Isn't that the case? Right? A little bit, let's mirror on the wall.
I have my explanation about this Meta data center. It will not disappear. It will be moved to another place. Why? Because in Netherlands, you don't have a lot of square meter by people. Instead, in Portugal, you have a lot of square meter by people. In a lot of other European countries, you have sustainable power means space. You need to have a lot of space to deliver sustainable power. Whatever is your sustainable source, you need to have a lot of space. In Netherlands, you don't have it. So this is why this is a big issue, because you don't have a lot of space, available space to make sustainable power production. So if you want to deliver big digital services, for your country, maybe you need to postpone it to other countries. This is why one of the explanations about the movement from flat countries or flat D countries to mid area. This is one of the explanations, even if in some countries the cost of energy is lower than us, but you have more ability to make big deployments in future sustainable source of energy, because we have space in our countries. And we have space, we have sun, maybe more than Netherlands. We have wind, you have some too, but you need to put wind in the sea. And people don't like anymore to have windmill in the sea.
They don't like it in the sea. They don't like it in the backyard. They don't like it on the roofs. They don't like it anyway.
The NIMBY effect, not in my backyard.
There you go. Exactly. My neighbor should be green, not me, right? Anyway, a quick one, Marilia, for you. Do you see some other, let's say, legal obstacles, challenges with regards to data centers in the coming future? Something or which currently you're working on?
well, there are
Just
some,
anything.
anything you can think of. Well, there was actually a interesting report on BEREC that tackled or listed at least some of the challenges, and most of them were not legal, but some of them are legal. So basically, obviously, you have in Europe, BEREC, so it's referred to Europe. So you have the investment, you have the people, the knowledge that the people must have to be able to invest on data centers. You have the issue that there are hyperscalers that have eaten a big chunk of the market, and then it's harder to get in the market. And you have the sustainability issues, the interoperability issues, and obviously there are a lot of regulations applying to data centers. One of the things that is going to happen, well, it has already happened because it has been passed, it is enforced, but it's not applicable yet, is the Data Act that probably most of you have already at least took a look just to make sure it's not applicable yet.
Don't read it. Don't do it.
No, it's not that big. Big is the AI regulation. That's big. This is going to affect, obviously, the data centers because it has other obligations in terms of allowing customers to switch, having more interoperability. So this is going to be one of the challenges. I would say that it's harder for the ones that are already there, so for the hyperscalers, because they will have to really amend the agreements, and it's going to be easier to increase, or at least theoretically, it's going to be easier from that perspective to increase competition in Europe, because it is going to be easier to change from one supplier to the other. So this is one of the things that the industry has to look at, because this is going to start being applicable as of September next year. And some of the obligations, for instance, the switching costs that should have already been reduced by now in the Data Act. And this is going to have a big impact because typically, as everyone knows, the customer is typically trapped in the because of, well, all the conditions and the technical and legal and whatever was agreed. And this is going to change. No, even from an economical perspective, it is going to change. So new counts will have to be made, and new assessments will have to be made to make sure everything is profitable.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Roy, what do you think that the future will bring? Can you scope a bit the future? What should we look out for? What will happen to us?
Future.
Mhm.
But
Your glass ball
Yeah.
prediction.
There is a story about the Portuguese football player, which they asked, what is your prediction for the game? And they said, predictions only at the end of the game. I think my prediction is, I think what everyone else thinks here, is that this will keep growing. At least here in Portugal, we will see the power consumed by data centers to be multiplied by 20 times in 2 or 3 years. So it's a small market. That's why it's growing so much. It will grow a lot. And also the number of submarine cables is increasing very much. So I think this will have a snowball effect, and it will have a great impact. So I think it will.
I hope some storage as well, and these kind of things, because just a landing station is, or just the cable is not enough, right? We need far more.
Oh yes, sure, but this will happen.
Mhm.
This is already
Sure.
happening, and this will happen. There will be more diversification. Diversification, of course, is fundamental. Things cannot be just on one cable station or two.
No.
So it will happen like that.
Mhm.
Okay, and
What-
also, of course, we will be ready to help the cables in the data centers with our terrestrial networks.
Of course, you're there to help them, right? Thank you, Emmanuel.
So my vision is obviously big growth in Med area, much more than in the northern countries area, for different reasons we spoke about before. I'm seeing for a bright future for Portugal, because Portugal have already access and wide access since a long time to the West African coast, the most active market of Africa continent. It's already is a big entrance door for South American market to Europe market. and this will grow again. We are speaking a lot about African countries growing like hell, but South America too. And South America is not only linked to North America, sorry. We are even seeing some North American connectivity coming to West Europe coast and Southwest Europe coast for the same reasons that the northern data is coming to the south areas. And so all of this together, this is a perfect storm, but in a positive way. And then I'm not concerned about energy. Really, I'm not concerned. We are able to find a way because we are part of the solution. We are able to move this. I'm mainly saying that there will be different way of consuming the power in any countries. Actually, we are consuming a lot in little data centers, private data centers linked to any companies, consuming power when it's the most fragile part of the country. Meaning my company is consuming my data in my area, which are far from Lisbon. It will come more and more to big point of data points where we are able to bring fibers, where we are able to bring energy, big kind of energy, and then we'll release energy in the country to be able to deliver it for electrical vehicles or other needs. And in that case, we are supporting the way in bringing a better and most robust energy infrastructure in the country. And this is data center doing this, not other EV industries, data centers.
And energy to a reasonable price.
Reasonable price is another discussion. Depend of the way in which we are producing energies.
Okay. Luciano.
Yes, regarding I am with you, Emmanuel, because I think also in Italy is south part of Italy, where I come from, is a good,
Beautiful part, by the way, guys. Go there.
It is like here for the weather and the sea and the food, but thinking about technology, data center, and energy. In south part of Italy, we have a lot of wind, a lot of sun, not a lot of data center, nothing. And the power production can be the key for the new data centers, because starting from scratch, as others says, is give the chance to make the project sustainability and green by design. So a mix of data centers, power production, and the submarine cable in a different alternative route. Also, Calabria can be a landing station. We have only one cable, the Ionian, that connect Greek to Crotone area. But all these things can be evaluated for the entire Italy, I think. And also for Mediterranean area, because we can imagine with submarine cable to serve a part of Africa from a data center located in south part of Europe and south part of Italy, I think.
Okay, thank you. Sigurd?
Yeah, from my point of view, for the future, something is happening, and new cables are coming from in the past. No, all the cables, submarine cables, were coming to London or to we know where all the cables. So once you have diverse routes, different routes, new actors are coming and the new ecosystems are growing. Like, for example, in Portugal, almost all the traffic was passing through to Europe, to the flap. Now we are seeing that the traffic is getting and is consuming in the country. So it's really interesting. And there are another countries like Italy. You know that one of the main landing stations was Marseille, and you have the Genova, new cable landing stations, and things are happening, and things are changing. So I think that it's interesting, these new ecosystems to diverse and to be closer to the customers.
And don't forget the pesto in Genoa. Yeah.
Well, like you said, I think we do have a perfect storm here in Portugal to grow the business, to grow the ecosystem, and a lot of opportunities are coming. I think, and as the panel is also about Africa, this is also essential to Africa. One of the things that I recall always is the change that socially, the social impact that mobile payments had, for instance, and how digital access can improve people's lives. So there's obviously a huge need. There are immense business to grow and then an immense space to grow in Africa. So I think good times are coming. Fortunately, Europe is taking a stand, and as it has done, for instance, on GDPR, they are trying to be the standard of what is going to be the regulation everywhere. So we are on the right place, and we do have the right framework, and we are in a good position to increase inside of Europe and try to export our business to Africa. And there's a long way to go. And fortunately, Portugal is a wonderful place for that.
It is. Thank you. Last famous words of the day, not of this panel, but of the day.
Of the day in here,
Of the
because I want to go dancing. And when I dance, I also talk. So it won't be my last words.
Now this is, we can clap for that. Now this is one thing. And we want to see this tonight. Okay? We're going to see this tonight.
Later.
No cameras, huh?
No, just to say that one of the things I believe it's happening is that data centers, in terms of power consumption, are suffering from the awareness of the public opinion. If I tell you that in my hometown, there is an industry that is glass industry, you can imagine the amount of power they consume. But nobody knows that. Okay, only the people that work in my hometown. Okay, because they get burned in front of the. Well, I don't know the name of forns. If you don't know forns, yeah, it's the ovens where you make the glass. So I think this is one of the points. The other point is, I don't believe that any of us is willing to say, I will wait 10 seconds to open my banking app and to see my my wage if I got paid or not. No, you're not willing to do that. And this is just a very small example of applications running on the web. So you're not willing to do that. So we need to find the right balance. And the last point is that if we, European Union, and countries belonging to the European Union, don't take care in terms of the balance we do with the laws and this kind of acts, we will push the industry to other regions. Of course, no one will be left without any data center, but the amount of investment will run to other regions that are not as strict as the European Union or any other advanced region in the world. So,
you know what, in Europe, we're good at this. Huh? You know, the photovoltaic was invented in Germany, and we just gave it away to the Chinese, you know, which is fine because they made a business out of it, and we forgot to do this. Do we still have a Facebook? Do we have an Oracle? Do we have whatever big IT, you know, software house in Europe again? Yeah, we have some smaller ones, you know, look at the stock exchange. No, you see, so we need to be aware of these things and you know, to say, you know, okay, let's take care of it. Let's keep the business here. Sure. Sure. Because I'm your neighbor, right? You know, exactly. Any questions for the lady and the gentleman? Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for your question. Microphone is coming to you.
No, thanks to you for the very, very interesting session. You talk a lot about sustainability, which of course is a very interesting topic for all of us. And you mentioned that direct or liquid cooling can be potentially a solution for some of the issues that a data center presents. I would like to know about your opinion about how far is the adoption so far in data centers of liquid cooling, and if in the future maybe we will see other solutions.
First of all, it's part of the solutions that there are many things. I mean, also to you know the air conditioning, you know, to cool the normal air cooling, you know, to provide that, the heat which comes out of it are given back to schools and other hospitals and whatsoever. So there's also a sustainable part in there. But I'll leave it to the expert.
So if we are going to electromechanical way of saying it, it's 25 times more efficient to dissipate energy, so heating energy, between air and cool. So it's better to use a cool system than air cool system. So liquid cool system instead of air cool system, because it can be up to 25 times more efficient. So first of all, let's say it's a, I don't know how to say that. It's mechanic de fluid, fluidal mechanics. I don't know how you say that.
Yeah,
Which is saying this. So secondly, actually, what is the percentage you can see as liquid cool solution in data center industry? Very few. Very few. And I can speak about my country. I can't speak about other countries, but I can speak about my country. In Italy, actually, liquid cool solution, I can have it in my hand. How many liquid solution is available in Italy? It's in my hand. How many is available? Why? It's not so because the technology is not ready. It's not so because people are not willing to do it. It's because of the reason I explained you before. A cabinet of liquid cooled solution is costing like hell. And as an industry, even if you're a very big company like Eni is the first oil and gas industry in Italy, it's the biggest one, the biggest industry, the biggest company in Italy, for themselves bringing their high performance computing HPC from version 5 to version 6, they were speaking about going to liquid cooled solution. It meaning an investment of 200% from one generation to the other one. Any company, whatever is your ranking, if you need to double your investment, maybe your CFO will come back to you to say, are you sure we want to do that?
Are you sure?
And so this is one of the reasons. The other reason is you have actually data centers they are designed, and we are designing data center to continue to live for the next 25 years. And we even have some of us data center which are 25, 30, 35 years old and running. They are not able to adapt liquid cooled solution because they are not able to dissipate 20, 30 liquid cools. That means minimum 35 kilowatt a cabinet. This is what it means. How many customers have need of 25 kilowatt a cabinet? Very few. How many data centers are able to dissipate it? Maybe 1 on 100 if they are well designed, and only the most modern one. And the cost of deploying this, meaning very high density, is very high. And this is why it's again a matter of market needs, capabilities of your system to be able to have it, and then your ability to invest in it. This is these 3 main KPIs which are seen to be able to deliver liquid cool. But it's coming. And if you need very high level of solutions, meaning very high level of computing solutions, then we will see more and more liquid cooled solutions. According to me, in the next 2 years, we'll see this rising in 1 digit first, then 2 digits, and the first digit will be a 1 something. And then we will see it at a 2 digit with a 3 something by 3 years. This is how I'm seeing it rising very quickly. And this is need for 2 letters, AI letters. Not only AI, HPC letters too, are need for high performance computing solution for very heavy industry. But again, it's reserved for Fortune 500 companies. It's too costly for a small company to do. This is why we will have AI as a service, HPC as a service, so liquid cooling as a service will raise.
Okay. Any other questions? In the back, the gentleman. Thank you for your question already.
Well, sorry, I know it's going to keep you from your beer, so sorry for that.
Make it short.
So going back to the beginning of the conversation when you were talking about how the edge is moving closer to the consumers, the super edges, and how there's more and more data centers coming basically everywhere. Is network resiliency a topic that is discuss is it when you design these new data centers, do you look at, okay, what are the redundant paths that we'll have for this new data center? And is eventually, satellite coming into your mind? So, okay, this data center is going to be, such a remote area that maybe we need a secondary, tertiary path through the space. I don't know. Is that in your minds?
I will start on that. I will leave the mic to whoever, because I don't want to jeopardize everything. But the main issue for edge data centers is its ability to have connectivity. This is the main issue. It's not in shrinking, or it's not even in services needs, because you have services needs in the edge, and you have shrinking abilities in technology. So this is not the main issue. The main issue is connectivity. Why? Because it's very easy to attract MSPs which need to make investment in my data center, because I'm hosting hundreds of customers. Because you will make an investment, you will be able to support with hundreds of potential customers in one data centers. If you are building an edge data center with maybe, I said magari, Italian, sorry, with maybe maximum 25 cabinets. If it's 25 cabinets, that means maximum 25 customers having each of them one cabinet. So you are making investment, you MSPs, you connectivity providers, you need to have a risk management in saying, max, I need to cover my cost with 25 customers. I'm not covering my cost with 100, 200, 600 customers, 1,000 customers, because I have a CSPs behind the scene, which is delivering services to X customers. So this is the main point. Connectivity ability to deliver investment divided by X potential customers. This is the real point to be able to grow edge computing system in a country. And if someone have another idea, I'm very curious and eager to listen for it.
Okay. Any other questions? Then I would like to thank you, first of all, audience, for staying with us the whole day. Thank you. Thank you for being here and listening to us. I would like to thank dearly my my experts and my panel. Marilia, of course, Joshua, Zigor, Luciano, yes, Emmanuel, and Rui. Thank you so much for being here.